different relationship, different job, different goals, different car or clothes. And yet we can still find ourselves back in exactly the same feeling, stuck. Have you ever wondered why? So, welcome to Soul Led Human. Here we don't chase better answers. Instead, we practice living better questions. So, before we start today's experiment, I would like you to just take a big breath, hold, and just let it out. We're all grounded. Okay. So, if you've ever wondered why we get stuck in that loop, I noticed last year that I was almost like frantically or desperately signing up for workshops or webinars. I was reading a ton of stuff, and I always had this feeling like, okay, if I just had that one more tool, if I just got better at energy healing, or actually, a perfect example was if I got better at mediumship. And so I would get the certification. I would have the tutor or the mentor or whatever, and I would get better at the tool. And yet I still was in that place of that same feeling, like something was missing, it's like something was lacking, or I was lacking. And so I was just like, I would just keep changing my goals. I would just be like, okay, well, that didn't quite do it. So let's try something else. And the really good part is, is that I do this for a living. And yet, so an example is that it was just a year ago, not very long ago, that I was stuck in that loop. And it was my awareness of it took a while, I promise. I did not like overnight have this epiphany, but I started to notice that there was a pattern, that there was something going on here beyond just the, hey, I need that or I need this. And that's what was at play. So this year, thank goodness, I did have kind of an epiphany. And what I noticed, what came through both channeling, meditation, and being aware of mm, being aware of this kind of like same looping back into the same feeling, put my awareness out for seeking an answer or for seeking information or knowledge or ahas and inspiration, right? So, what came up and is part of my book, The Soul Led Human, is what I call the loop. So, what came forth, and it's not like I didn't know this information before, I just hadn't seen it so blatantly in my own life. So, the loop, as I call it, is basically how humans are wired. So I love this because it nobody is exempt. Nobody is left out of this loop. We are all human and we are all have this wiring, so to say. So the beginning of the loop is our belief or our identity. So we believe something about ourselves. We have a belief, we think it often enough, and it becomes who we are or an identity factor, a piece or an aspect of who we are. Most of these beliefs are created before we're 9. I have other videos about this, and we'll be talking about it again in the future. But so we have a belief. Our belief or our identity then creates our thoughts. So I have this thought, I need another tool. So the identity is probably is in after some work more around I'm not smart. That was one of the aspects of one identity of me that had been running the boat for a long time. So I'm not smart is the identity. The thought is I need more knowledge, I need more tools, I need more information. The thought leads to our feelings. So I had this feeling of almost desperation, of almost of like grasping, is like I'm lacking, I need to fill my cup. The feelings, our feelings as a human, create our actions. They are the catalyst for what we do in the physical world. At that time, with this example, I was signing up for workshops. I was getting mentors. I was anything that I could do to get more tools, to feel smarter, to feel more fulfilled. So I take action. So our action, of course, always creates our results, right? So the result would be that I would have a certificate, but because our actions confirm our identity, I was still left. So the action or the results would be like, I wouldn't have any more clients than I did before. I would put out a new offering and nobody would sign up. Or I would not recognize where my clients were getting benefit, even if they were. So those are the results. The results confirm the identity, and the whole thing loops around again. So none of us are exempt. So you can get a new relationship, and yet you still feel like you're still worried that they're going to leave. You can get a new job and still feel like you're not contributing. You can create new goals and yet you still don't reach them. So the whole loop, this particular identity keeps us in the loop. Now, what I have learned in doing the Soul at Human and how the kind of the pathway works is to notice at the very beginning what part of you is choosing. So what aspect of me, what identity is signing up for the workshop? What part of me, what aspect of me is finding a new boyfriend? What aspect of me is choosing to not do the video? Do you know what I mean? So the key or the awareness is to notice who's choosing. So when we bring that into our awareness and we ask that question, like literally this week's living question is who is choosing? Who has the keys to the bus, as I always say. So when we start to notice, we can go, oh, like I get it. My 5-year-old who thinks I'm not very smart just signed up for that workshop or wants to sign up for the workshop. Now, there is nothing to do. I want to emphasize that this is an experiment, right? There's nothing to do except notice. So the invitation this week for the experiment is simply to have that living question kind of go with you day to day. So who's choosing? What part of me is choosing? What aspect is choosing? You will notice when it is your intuitive or when your connection to higher self is helping you choose, you feel very different than when your 5-year-old chooses or when your hurt 22-year-old chooses or whatever aspect of you your identity is choosing. Now, there are plenty of identities that we own that are not blocking us. There are lots of really good identities as well, right? So, an identity that I do have is I'm a good mom. I'm a really good mom. And so that part of me or aspect, sorry about the airplane, that aspect of me makes choices as well. So noticing that that aspect of me is making a choice, perhaps in what I say or how I engage with my children or how I am confident in talking about parenting, she's not wrong. Like I don't have to disbelieve every aspect of me that is making a choice. So just to notice, that's the key. That's the invitation. Spirit always tells me in its invitation, we have free will, but the invitation is to start to notice which aspect of you is choosing. That's it. So just carry the question with you for the rest of the week and notice what shows up. Notice where you perhaps hesitate to sign up for the workshop or pay for something you don't need or whatever it is. And then just see what happens. Just notice. Okay, so today or this week's living question is what aspect of me or what part of me, what identity, who's choosing? Who has the keys to the bus? And if you're interested in this, then on Thursday, I will be channeling Sam and bringing them the exact same topic. I'll be channeling a message from the angels all about this aspect around identity, beliefs, the loop, and who is choosing. And then we will get Spirit's perspective on the same topic. Thanks, guys. I love you. Have a fabulous week. Mwah. Be sure to share if you know somebody else who can benefit from this. Leave a like and subscribe if you're not. And of course, leave a comment with any like inspiration or ahas that occurred for you and questions. We love those too. I'll talk to you soon. Mwah.